So at that point, let me introduce to you Coach Mark Richt.
Thank you all very much. You guys are great. It's a blessing to be here tonight. See the room, every seat full, everybody standing in the back. That's just a tribute to Savannah and the passion that you have for the Georgia Bulldogs and for each other. And I know a lot of people are here just because of the friendships here. And I know most of the people are here because Claude Felton's here tonight. Scooter. Now, somebody said he used to do a Mexican hat dance or something. I don't know what that is. I gotta ask Claude about some of these things when we get out of here. But anyway, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you very much. I know you're excited about the team. I am too. You know, last season, everybody wanted to talk about Moreno and Stafford. That just seemed to be the topic of conversation throughout the fan base. But the media, I think the media enjoys what they would consider stars. I think sometimes a team maybe gets built up too much because of one or two players, and sometimes they don't get the credit they deserve because they may not have a marquee name out there. And so I don't know if this team coming up is a whole lot different than any other teams we've had in the past few years. I really believe that we've got an opportunity to compete at the highest level. I think we got a chance to win the Eastern Division. I think we all got to realize is we play in a great league. In order to win it, you've got to win the close games. You've got to play together. You've got to play good defense. And I really feel like we've got the ingredients for that. When you start on the defensive side of the ball for us, I think you've got to start right at the gut. And when you've got a guy like Jeffrey Owens and Geno Atkins and even Cade Weston, D'Angelo Tyson, those guys are as fine of a group of interior defensive linemen as you'll find in the country. And then right behind them is going to be Akeem Dent and Rennie Curran, who are two outstanding linebackers. Then when you keep going down the middle and move a little further back, you're going to have Rashad Jones and Brian Evans, tremendous safety. So right up the gut defensively, we're going to be extremely strong. And of course, last year we didn't have quite the pressure from the outside that we wanted, the defensive end position. It was the first time in the 8 years that we had been at Georgia that we didn't have a first or second team all-SEC performer at defensive end, and or a guy that led the league in sacks. But we hope to get that back. DeMarcus Dobbs, who's from not too far from here, I think he's really matured. I think he's got a chance to do great things for us. Roderick Battle will be back for his senior season. Cornelius Washington, defensive end, he's about 6'4", 6'5". Now he's up to about 255, 260 pounds. Very, very fast. He was a guy that we offered a scholarship to him, I think, coming out of the 9th grade. He just kept coming to camp since he was a little peanut. By the time he was about a 9th grader going into the 10th grade year, if he'd have been a senior that season, or going to be a senior going into that season, he was talented enough to offer it. He committed early and stayed true to his word. So we think he'll do a fantastic job. Offensively, without getting into too much detail, we talked a little bit about Joe Cox. Joe's a wonderful football player, a great leader. He's a very accurate passer. This guy, if you remember, when Stafford was a true freshman, and we had our first depth chart after the first two scrimmages, we had Joe Tereshinski first, we had Joe Cox number 2, and Stafford was number 3. And I think a lot of the fans were surprised by that depth chart, and I think Stafford was kind of surprised by it too. But that's where he sat. And Joe was really making a move at the start position to unseat Joe Tereshinski. But after that announcement, Stafford, I don't know what happened to him, but he kind of settled down and really began to play well. And then he kind of began to assert himself and take over. But Joe is a guy that he could tell every player on the offensive team what to do on every play. And he could tell probably every defensive player, especially on our defense, because he knows it so well, what they should be doing on just about every play too. And he's earned the respect of his players and his coaches. So I think that he'll do a great job for us. Offensive line ought to be very veteran, you know. Injuries were bad, but the good news was a lot more guys got opportunity. We've got 9 guys right now that have played and played well, and should be healthy to play up front, which usually if you have 6 or 7, you're pretty excited. Only one of them's a senior, Vince Vance, so the line is still very young, but experienced because of all the guys that had to play as freshmen the last couple of years. Tight end will be interesting. Bruce Figgins will get a very late start. But Aaron White has really proved to be a pretty good pass route runner and ball catcher, and now he's up to about 235 pounds. When we signed him, he was probably around 215, so he's finally grown into that body that we hoped he would. Then we signed a couple young guys that really, I think, will make an impact for us. Arthur Lynch is about a 255-pound tight end from up north in Connecticut. And then Orson Charles is about a 225, 230-pound kid, but runs as fast as any receiver will probably have, and has very strong hands and is a great competitor. Teammate of Aaron Murray, the quarterback out of Tampa Plant. So we think those guys will have a chance to make an impact. At receiver, we all know A.J. Green was a fabulous freshman, and we hope he continues to progress. He's already gotten much stronger. He's probably up to about 205, 210 pounds now. He probably showed up about 190. And who's going to complement him? We think Michael Moore will do an outstanding job. We think Tavares King is ready, poised to make plays for us. And Marlon Brown, everybody's excited about that name. Rantavius Wooten is another guy, 2 true freshmen coming in that will get a chance to play. I can't imagine any receiver being redshirted. I doubt our tight ends get redshirted. I think all those guys will get a chance to play, and we might even sneak a little bit of Brandon Smith, one of the fastest players in the state of Georgia last year, who's going to be a cornerback for us, but we think he'll get a chance to play offense for us. And then at tailback, everyone wants to know who's going to be the next guy. I don't know the answer. I know Caleb is number 1 going into the fall. Carlton Thomas had a good spring. He made some fine runs not only in the spring game, but all throughout camp, all throughout spring. We got Dontavius Jackson, who practiced a little bit in the spring. He was coming off an injury, and then of course Richard Samuel was hurt, and but he should be fine. Had a wrist injury that we